If you're watching this training in PDF sound format, we suggest that you first click the audio at the top and listen while paying attention to the image to understand the instruction properly. Then, if you didn't understand perfectly, you can read the instructions at the bottom to reinforce what you've learned. This training will teach you how to group, stagger, and the use of the dispute selector feature inside the dispute center in Credit Money Machine. As you should know by now, to enter into the dispute center, click the red gavel icon, as shown above. Then, click the Export View with Current Client button. It's assumed that you know how to import a credit report into Credit Money Machine. Otherwise, refer to the full training PDF sound file. The first grouping is the staggering option that happens automatically when you import the credit report. Depending on the number of days you selected, as shown above, the dispute will be staggered to one derogatory every so many days per credit bureau. Another way is to select several disputes per letter. That is accomplished by clicking the Group button, where you select the number of disputes you want per letter and how many days in between letters. When you schedule several disputes per letter, they are grouped in letter groups, so when they are printed, they will be going in the same group. Notice that one or more disputes are orphans, as shown above, and it will be printed in separate letters. Orphans are those disputes not assigned to any group. For example, if you have 4 derogatories for Equifax and you choose to group them in threes, obviously one is going to be left out without group. There is nothing wrong with that. It's normal. Also, analyze how disputes are grouped. In addition to the number of disputes you want per dispute, you must consider that the template used must be the same for all the group. This is done automatically, but you may think that there is something wrong if a dispute you thought would be in a group is not there. Also, realize that disputes of the same group must belong to the same credit bureau. While this is obvious, it may lead to thinking that there is something wrong with the software when in fact is the way it should be. The reason for the dispute could be different for each dispute as necessary. Finally, there is a third way to select exactly the dispute you want to dispute per letter, and is accomplished by using the dispute selector indicator, as shown above. There are a couple of steps that you must do before printing your one-of-a-kind dispute letter with selected derogatories. First, check mark the disputes you want to include in one letter in the dispute selector column, as shown above. Be sure that all belong to the same credit bureau, in this case to Experian, as shown above. You can select disputes from different credit bureaus if you are going to print more than just one credit bureau letter, and those disputes don't need to be the same in those credit bureaus, 2 or 3, so you have total flexibility. Also be sure that all those disputes are using the same letter template as shown above. You can change the dispute reason if you want or is necessary. Then, click the icon at the top of the dispute selector column. Then, click the Select button when the dialog pops up. Now, click the Selected button when the second dialog pops up, so you will be selecting only the ones marked from the selected client. In our example, only 3 disputes will be selected for one credit bureau, but obviously could be different in your case with many more disputes from the 3 credit bureaus. Then click the Schedule Several Disputes per Letter button as shown above. Then click on the Selected button from the dialog, because you don't want to set groups for the whole client but only for the disputes you selected. The next dialog is just a little tricky. In this particular case, the number 3 for 3 disputes per letter is perfect. But if you don't know how many disputes are selected, just use a high number, even 99, to be sure that all disputes selected will go in one letter as appropriate for each credit bureau. In the small example, the 3 dispute group received the letter A as shown above, and it will be printed in one letter. To summarize, you can automatically import and stagger disputes one per letter based on the number of days you selected previously, or you can click the Select Several Disputes per Letter button and stagger several disputes per letter based on the number of disputes and number of days you select previously, or you can checkmark individual disputes in the Dispute Selector column and print exactly what you want per template letter.